call the meeting to order. Janet, you need to order prayer.
Dear Lord, thank you for another beautiful day. Hot but beautiful. Be with all our first responders, our fire, police, our emergency EMTs, our Army and Navy, Air Force, Marines, so Coast Guard, sir. Be with each person here, keep them safe on their way home, help us make the right decisions for the city and the people. And thank you again. Amen.
James, would you lead us in the pledge of allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Just to amend to add that date for Hazel Avenue. So if we can put that on 7E.
I need to make an amendment.
Okay.
Discuss the Pickens Street Park Project Phase 1.
You want that?
Says we have. Discuss and vote to change the amount of money spent. 8D. Spent without approval. Discuss and vote to change bid process. 8E.
Discuss, say that one more time, please.
Discuss and vote to change the bid process.
4.
Ain't it at 20,000? It doesn't have to be sealed right now.
Does it have to be advertised or sealed?
All right, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve with the changes.
Should I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Yes. Thank you. Okay. Approval for the minutes for August the 5th, 2019 council meeting. Can I get a motion to approve those?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor? Yes. Thank you. Approve August the 15th special call meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor? Yes. And the August the 26th special call meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor? Department reports. Lieutenant Simmons.
Good evening, everybody.
Thank
Looking at the report, we had 10 calls in August. You see the breakdown there, significant calls. On the 24th, there was a series of entering autos in Pickens County and the city of Canton. We took 3 reports in Nelson Oaks. We also had a found property call, and the found property was from one of the break-ins in Canton. We found the property in Nelson Oaks, and we were taking those entering auto reports. None of the vehicles that were entered in Nelson Oaks were broken into. They were all unlocked. We got a call to the park for after hours. There was some folks playing on the playground swinging. Turned they were residents, and after hours you got to go, and they left. We got a call regarding some trash on Pickens Street in a resident's yard. We dealt with that. And a suspicious person in Nelson Oaks. It was a couple days after the entering auto, so anybody seen just kind of being around the area was a suspicious person. That was pretty much it for the month. Yeah, pretty good month.
Thank you, sir.
You got my email about the entering autos, so we can send it out to everybody. Just keep a reminder, please lock your doors, please. Thank you.
Put it on the Facebook.
We did add it to
I
Facebook.
just copy paste your email.
All right, Marble Festival is coming up October the 5th and 6th. We will have the City Hall open for tour buses to come in, and we have citizens here in the city that's been gracious enough to offer their time to come and support the event and be a part of it. So thank everybody who's going to be helping us with that. Did we just want to do sodas and water and crackers?
I think so, as long as everybody else is good or not.
We've talked about maybe supplying, doing some food and stuff, but I think with the festival food and stuff, that's just probably not going to be a big thing. So we're going to just opt to do what we did last year, which was water and crackers. Everybody hear that? Okay. Movie night is going to be September the 14th. Movie time is going to be about 8:30 p.m. Everybody come out. We appreciate all the participation that we had last month. It was a good turnout. And then dumpster days are October the 11th through the 21st. We're getting 2 dumpsters this time since they seem to fill up so fast. So you guys utilize that to the best of your ability and happy cleaning. Anybody else have anything as far as updates?
I don't think so. I think it was just someone to make sure the dumpster day, it's on the garbage bills, but I'm not sure if we knew about it otherwise.
All right.
We also have the t-shirts from the chamber that they're selling, the ones from last year that don't have a date on them here. We have long sleeve, short sleeve, and hoodies that will be available during Marble Fest.
We're going to have them available for,
You can put them out for the movies, and I'm going to try to get the other t-shirts on by then.
we'll have some t-shirts and hoodies out for the movie, so if you guys want them at a discounted price, right?
I think so.
Okay. That's what I had thought I'd read.
There's 2 different, well, there's like the volunteers get a different price list than the public, but I don't know if the prices are different. from
They're still a
what's on
good
the
deal and they're
list.
good quality, so. Okay. Let's move on to vote on the demolition ordinance amendment. This is the second reading. Council, let me.
Yeah, it's just basically that we're going to vote again. It's the second reading, so it'll be effective. So I'll make a motion to approve the demolition ordinance. Second reading.
Can I get a second? All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Discuss and vote on vending machines. Council, I'll let you do that one because you've been getting the prices on that.
Okay, well, I found another company that is actually local in Tucker, and their pricing is better than there was one company, I think that was like a few bucks less on one of them, but the shipping was going to be way more. They have new machines and used machines. There is a price difference. If you do the one that has, you get a new sign face put on it for $1,600 for the used one, or one that just sits as is for $1,400, 90-day parts warranty, lifetime Dept support, or you can buy a new one for $32.49, which has a 1-year complete parts warranty, compressor has a 5-year warranty, control board has a 2-year warranty, and the Fun Tech is a lifetime with that as well. The snack machines, they only offer them new. They're expensive, $5,300. The guy that I was talking to said that 90% of your profits come from drink machines, and he didn't suggest doing snack machines if you're not going to make any money on them. But either way, there are some different prices with different companies in there. But the one that I found in Tucker, he recommended that you just have the guys pick it up and they go through and train them how to do stuff on it, clean them, and all the maintenance stuff when they're on site.
Is the warranty any different on the new versus the used?
It is. There's a 1-year complete warranty on the new one. The compressor has a 5-year warranty, and the control board has a 2-year warranty. Whereas the used one comes with a 90-day warranty period. But you got like lifetime from tech support, so you get the part and you need help putting it in, fixing just a basic problem, and get that for that.
They have service tags that come out with them, or they just,
They more or less just kind of tell you how to fix it, I think. 'Cause I don't think there's a whole lot that goes into it, so it's like if the part goes bad, you just replace the part and train them how to do maintenance and routine repairs on it when it's picked up. Or they can deliver it for like $120 and you don't get that.
So it was a 3-year control or a 5-year on what?
2-year on patrol, 5-year on campus, 1 year complete on the new one. And the new one is $1,349. Or a used one that's between $1,400 and $1,600 that has a 90-day park warranty.
90 day?
I've had several people come in and ask too, that were kind of excited that they might not have to go to Dollar General or the gas station at the 4-way to get something to drink.
Just gonna get one for the time being and see how it goes, and then
I would, just in that way you kind of have a better idea of what's what. And if it's working out and, you know, you need another one, you can put another one, but I would just show where the cameras are so you can, because I think that's the problem they had before with the vandalism.
So we're going to try to keep the one here.
You could do it here, I would almost do it out in the park. But it, that's, I mean, we'd have to look and make sure there's a space where the camera's gonna hit it, but you're gonna have more people down here than you are here. And that Cherokee closeouts that just opened in Pickens, I wanted to know the other day, and they had cases of Gatorade for like either $8 or $12, like the big cases. Take them. And something you could stick in there.
Does that machine do like, is it 20-ounce bottle machine?
They were on here. I think it's a non-bottle and can capacity.
It's got one.
Yeah.
Then 12-ounce cans, bottle sizes from 16.9 ounces to 24 ounces.
Yeah. I had notes on another paper, and I just couldn't pull it, that's not it.
That's this one here, is that the one you're talking about?
Sure, the first, I think it was the same machine, because it's you had several different ones, it's basically just vending machine companies.
Yeah, here it is.
So they all have basically the same thing.
That was just can right here.
And they had one that had the,
No,
it says bottle capacity too.
It says, yeah, right here. Probably 300 for bottle capacity. Doesn't really say what size does it. Yeah, this one.
I probably have it written down, it's on the sheet.
What would be the downside of like getting Coca-Cola or Pepsi to supply someone?
The honestly, I never got a call back from them. I called twice and left messages and they never called back. But I think it's, you're stuck only with their product.
Exactly.
And I don't know what the markup and stuff is. Whereas if you get one that just says cold drinks, you can put anything and everything in there.
Yep.
So you can have the Pepsi products, Coke products, water, Gatorade, whatever.
And we talked about using the dollars from that to fund our movies and some just other
City stuff.
city events.
It's basically if you want a new one or you need one.
What's your thoughts? Used.
I don't know much about it. I don't know if they're refurbished or good.
He said they go through them and check everything, like because you can buy them, I think, just as is as they sit, and then a little less than that. But the way he talked, they go through and check everything, evaluate it, make sure everything's functioning and working.
That's the same company that sells them new and used, is that what you said?
They sell new ones and used ones.
Okay.
There's Southern Equipment, they're the ones that are in Tucker. There was several other ones, Global Vending. I think this one was in New York. There was one that was in St. Louis. There was some that were at Costco. But the Southern Equipment one had the best pricing.
So the used ones are, did you say the used ones are 13 to,
Between it's $13.95 to $15.95.
and then the new ones are
32,
3200?
49.
Okay, 3200.
I would say try a used one, and then it's like,
And if it's
there's,
good, you can get a new one for the next one.
yeah. That way, if you don't get a lot of use on it, then you'll have a pile of money.
You think the only thing that goes wrong with the jam,
Yeah.
one jams.
I'm all right. Use it.
It's just
You want a new sign face on it, or do you want just whatever's there? It's kind of anybody's guess.
If it says Pepsi, we can put Coke in it.
Exactly, so I would suggest a new sign face. So I'll make a motion to approve a used vending machine with a new sign face.
Give me a second.
I'll second.
All in favor? Golf cart permits, council, you don't really tell me about golf cart
Actually,
permits.
Keith had found some stuff on this a little bit ago, which they put on the last agenda. It was just more information regarding laws and stuff, and ages and others. It's just more of a discussion thing, see if we want to move forward. I talked to Nathan about it some this week too. Saying, you know, basically the requirements, regulations, but this was specifically Georgia law. And as far as operators, says you can actually drive it if you're 12, if there's somebody that's 18, which surprised me. And if you're 15 and you have a learner's permit, it says you can operate a golf cart alone. But it has to be on streets with posted speed limits 35 miles an hour or less. You can cross another road, but you can't be on the road, so your speed limit's higher than that. So basically nothing on 25, other than crossing it from Normal Lake. But if we want to proceed, we can.
What's your thoughts on that?
He's over here trying to and shaking his
Somebody
head.
driving on Highway 5.
Yeah, that specifically says you cannot drive on Highway 5. You could cross it if they were coming from Laurel Lake, but not, can't drive on it.
Honestly, Mayor, just if you're talking about golf carts riding around the city streets, none of your speed limits are over 35 other than Highway 5, so as long as they're responsible.
It might give us a way
That's
to
where my thing
control
is,
it.
it's like more of a, you know, don't go stupid with them and be responsible, and I don't have a problem with it. It's up to whatever the city wants to do.
Well, I think they're out there now. It's just a matter of if we want to regulate what's there, because I had somebody else come in this week and say something about whoever's driving the one that's up and down Pickens Street, some little girl or something that's flying through stop signs, and I think it was more concerned that she's going to be injured. But it kind of puts parameters around it, that these are the rules you have to follow, and you can charge a permit fee and decide what that yearly fee is, if we want to keep moving forward with it.
Thoughts, council? James, what's your thoughts on it?
I'm fine with them as long as they rich come, we can keep up with them. And they do need some kind of a stop line.
Yeah, this says that you have to have all that. I mean, it goes through like,
Yeah, the triangle on it.
headlamps, turn signals, tail lamps, stop lamps, reflectors, mirrors, parking brake, windshield, seatbelt.
Most golf carts don't have all that stuff.
I don't remember.
That's a motor vehicle there.
Well, that statute is dealing with what's called low-speed vehicles.
Yeah, that's what it, as you said
It's
that.
not a golf
Yeah.
cart.
Yeah.
There are some low-speed vehicles.
Oh, here.
Chrysler used to make one called the Gem. They're actually made to go on streets. They've got the windshield wipers, the headlights, the whole 9 yards. They're not a golf cart. They're actually bigger than a golf cart. But they were designed to not go more than 35 miles an hour.
They had this, I read the wrong thing, that was for low-speed vehicles. This one says it has to have headlights, brake lights, turn signals, and windshield. And it says that they don't meet these standards, they can only be operated during sunrise to sunset, so nothing after dark if it doesn't have all that.
Woodstock also just passed a bunch of golf cart regulations, so it may be worth looking at what they passed is kind of, they've got permitting stickers and all of that on their, on
It
the
will
carts.
just give us a way to put a little bit of control around it.
Do a little research on it.
What are your thoughts on permit costs, or you want to see what they do? I have no idea.
That'll be,
As cheap as possible.
Did you have one? Well, 100
You have a golf cart or
I'm
something?
just kidding.
You got a golf cart?
Half the people that live here do, they're all over the place.
You know, fix it to where they gotta sell it, because they can't afford it.
Oh, exactly. I mean, I'm like 25 to 50 bucks a year, I would assume. I don't think it's something you don't want to make it ridiculous. So I'll keep looking into it. It was just, Keith had found, thank you, Keith. I found this information a week or two ago.
Okay. Can we move on? You go get some additional information, Council. Okay, Kennesaw Avenue project.
No, this is the radio system.
The discuss and vote on the 800 megahertz radio system.
I don't know, did Jeff say anything?
Yes, I
about
talked to
this?
Jeff about it. He said that it's really already part of a larger existing SPLOST agreement that has already been agreed on.
Yeah.
So it's not really anything new. It's just restating something that was a portion of a former SPLOST agreement.
The SPLOST agreement's in here too. They said that whenever I asked them about it. So I wasn't, yeah, it didn't make sense to me.
It's something that's essentially already been approved
Yeah.
in the SPLOST agreement, just specifically pulled out by itself.
Yeah, and it's not, I thought it had to do with police department, because I called and said they didn't have it anymore. And it's having to do more with the, like 911 systems and stuff, like the, I guess the level they broadcast on. But they said it was part of the SPLOST stuff that was done back in 2017 or whatever. And the copy of the SPLOST agreement is behind that, this agreement, if anyone wants to look at it. So it's more just a technicality that we have to vote on it. Pretty much
Yeah,
all
since
stuff.
it's technically already been, it's already been approved.
It's been approved at the county level.
My understanding was it was already agreed upon just through the SPLOST agreement, I think through the intergovernmental agreement.
Yeah, it was already
It was
part
done
of
in
the SPLOST agreement
2017.
that was signed.
Okay.
And this, the copy of the SPLOST agreement that they sent is behind this agreement.
Thinking this might have been on the, I didn't realize that.
It's like, if you look at page 3, so, section F, projects to be owned or operated, or voted by Nelson. And there's like 4 different items. Page 3, right there. It has a breakdown for each city.
Right here.
Which I didn't understand why they didn't just take that out of the SPLOST instead of sending them the check to then turn around and send them back to where it didn't make sense to me. Basically saying there's 3 installments. $15,681 that have to be paid.
Why is it saying for the last year right here, it's for 1,000?
That's for all the projects I think that.
And it says total estimated of 94,000. The checks come out yearly or are they?
There's monthly, we get SPLOST checks, we get them at the beginning of each month, they try month. And they're 14, 16,000 usually a month. I think the SPLOST 5 is what we're getting now.
You said it was in the SPLOST agreement or
This is
something?
the SPLOST agreement that's behind that.
Yeah, so
Who
it's on
signs the
page.
agreement?
It was signed by the mayor and clerk in 2017, so the prior mayor would have signed off on this.
And then where, And every city that's getting tax SPOS money has to pay this, it's not just us. Like Alaska's is 38,000.
And like I said,
Alex Springs was way more, Alex Springs was like $500,000.
32,000 for us.
It's
And that's
three
10
checks.
years.
No, it's
Three installments.
3 installments. Look at page 2, like that, down here, it breaks it down. 3 equal installments shall pay such license fee to the county as follows. Installment 1, the second full month following the execution of the agreement. Installment 2, 14th full month following, so basically a year after we did the first one. Installment 3, last business day of 26th month following the execution agreement.
I was just curious if it was like something that's gonna come back up in a few years, and I know that something doesn't know.
Probably the next
Or the
clause.
next clause, which I don't know why we don't just take it out of it initially, and so maybe we turn it back to that.
So basically, we need to vote to go ahead and write the
Make
checks.
a motion to approve.
Sure.
Just,
Ordinance.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
So the first check will be due 2 months from now. 14 months and then.
To November. The second one is due, and then you can,
14 months. I think 14 months are this week. Figure back in, when you write it down, so you know what it takes.
That'd be each November for the next 3
Yeah, they
years.
just put it where it was kind of.
The language is,
Make it as difficult as possible.
okay,
Kennesaw Avenue's next.
Kennesaw Avenue.
That was just for us to, the reduction of that bid. That date, so we can start making forward on it.
Okay, so the bid amount was $706,000 for a turnkey project. There's pros and cons to both of those. Brian and I looked into the dollars. If we do that project with the bid that we're at, it will literally take everything we have, and we'll have to push projects out. So, the ups, yeah, for at least 3 years, because we won't have enough money coming in from Pickens to replace it to do the roads. The upside to that is that you have, it's a turnkey. You don't have to project manage it, and it's all done by the same person. You don't have to bid it out. Everything that's over $100,000, which all 3 projects would be over $100,000, you have state involvement with that piece of it. With that said, rejection of that bid by the council, we could go back and we could look at bidding the project out in phases. We would need to have a work session to look at the phases that we would want to bid out, and then bid those. They would be treated just like our last bid. They would be advertised and one phase at a time, and then you would proceed that way. And we could have, for example, the junction box is out of Cherokee. A lot of the piping for Spring Street and for Kennesaw Street is going to come out of Pickens. Your sidewalk, the majority of it will come out of Pickens, and a little bit will come out of Cherokee, and your turn lane is out of Pickens. So I think right now we have estimated that project would cost between $450,000 and $500,000. So it was a surprise when it came in at $760,000. They got it down to $706,000. Bidding it out in 3 phases means that we would need to, each one of those phases is going to, I would think the council would want to have somebody to do, when you bid it, make sure that they project manage it and they're accountable to the council. So we would need to look into that from a legal perspective and how to proceed with that bid.
So Barry's gonna break it into 3 different phases, or?
I think that we would have to have a work session and have Barry come, and then we would have to literally lay it out on the table, what we could do, how we could do it, because those poles have to be moved. There's steps that are involved, so, I'm not a drain person, so I could project manage the job, but as far as knowing what I would be doing with a drain project, I wouldn't, and unless somebody on council has a lot of time just to give to that project and understands stormwater draining, I would suggest that when we bid it out, we bid out that person that we award the bid to. It needs to be in there that they project manage that project. If we pay Barry to project manage it, you're looking at $35 to $40 an hour, maybe a little bit more. And I think that's, for somebody that's an engineer, he's not really stormwater or drainage either, so that's your downside there to using him. So what I suggest right now is that the council either votes to push projects out in the capital improvement plan and go with the $706,000, or we reject the bid, we do a planning phase, and we do it in 3 phases. It does delay our project a little bit, but again, different people that I've talked with, Evan chimed in and he's like, that's a lot of money. Even Barry said, that's $706,000 is still a lot of money. You'd be getting a quality project, but it's still a lot of money, and we didn't. That's $200,000 more than we had planned.
Well, I think if we had double that sitting in the bank and we're squeezing projects to fish all the funds in one category, it would be a little different too, but.
The other thing is our roads, our roads are not in poor condition, our roads are in fair condition, so that may be a deciding factor for the council as well when you're deciding whether to reject the bid and go with phases or use a turnkey project.
I'd rather do it in phases.
Okay. Council?
I agree with David. I mean, I don't know much about that.
I have 2 pipes, way too big.
Yeah, there's been several people that have brought the size of the pipes.
Okay, well, the first thing we would need to do then is to reject the bid for Kennesaw
Yeah.
Avenue. So can I get a motion to reject the bid for Kennesaw Avenue?
Make a motion to reject.
All in favor? Okay. Let's see, when we just need to
I don't know about changing the pipe size though, I mean, the engineer figured that up.
Well, they've had.
Well, we got 48 coming out and 60 going in.
We had somebody come in that actually called him and asked him about it, and he didn't have an answer to that. He was having to defer it to somebody else. And he told, it wasn't anything on him, he just said he's not the drain guy,
Yeah.
basically.
Somebody else.
There's a lot of water that ends up down there. When it goes back to raining, and it ain't rained in a while.
Well,
I don't think it was a
What
drastic
surprises me
difference.
is
I think
that
it was
there's a 48-inch pipe down there already. What size pipe can the culvert handle?
There's a
They went
48
down,
inch in there now.
60 inch tall, I don't know. Is that what they
I
said?
think it's more rectangle than.
Yeah, I mean 60, like it was
Yeah.
60 inches tall. I can't remember what he said. They had measurements on it.
Those are all good questions, and maybe write some of those down that you have, so we can have, go ahead and get a list of questions to Barry. And let's go ahead and set up a planning session.
I'd like to see that project moving forward.
I think we all would. So let's set up a planning session. If you don't mind, submit your questions to Barry in writing so he can help with answers. And we can go from there.
You have a date and we'll look after that. Just get together.
So planning session, do you guys want to do that at the end of this month?
No, we're out of school yet, look.
Yeah, that last
Plans
week.
to go somewhere. Plans to go in.
I don't know.
It's already the second, we got a movie next week. How about if we do it how about if we have the meeting on the 1st? How about if we do it on the 3rd Thursday in October?
But it's fine, it doesn't matter, I'm just letting you know.
what about the,
If we just try to do it next week, we're gonna try to get it rolling. Is that a possibility?
we can see if Barry has that schedule.
I'll check with them and see if we can make it the one day now.
I feel like we've been at a standstill for a good while now on it.
Yes.
Projects take time, that's a fact.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're rejecting the bid, we're gonna set up a planning session and we're going to, send an email. Alright, new business. Discuss and vote on the IGA for the library services.
I think we had an amended F under unfinished business for
We do,
discuss.
yeah, discuss Pickens Street, I had it at the very bottom, sorry about that, it's my scribble. Discuss Pickens Street project.
Can you give us an update on that?
Pickens Street project has been completed. Michael Kidd and I meet on the 12th. Anybody that would like to meet with Michael Kidd and I on the 12th, we're going to be here. I get you the time down. I want to say it's at like 11 o'clock.
Who was Michael Kidd?
Michael Kidd is the parks planner that we,
Redesign.
for SPOS, that has been working on the design, the master park plan. So that's on the 12th of this
Is he
month.
the one that designed the new park over there?
Yes. Okay, so the phase 1 is complete.
He got some drawings on it, or?
He will have. Hopefully by our October meeting, he'll have us something. Take a look at that area too, if there's anything that you guys, I mean, we got some space up there now, so a horseshoe pit, or if you want to do a, you know.
What happened to the tree?
The trees are gone,
Right.
so I spoke with Bubba Holcomb. Bubba Holcomb was asked to take the trees down. He did so without contacting the city. Had a conversation with him, he apologized. He does understand protocol, and it won't happen again. So that's the best I got on that.
Who asked him to take the trees down?
David Martin and Keith Johnson.
No, I missed the last meeting when all that was approved. I came in late, right when the meeting was over. Who solicited the bids on the, I never got to look at the bids on the,
They were available. Right?
well, I mean,
Who got the bids?
the vote was over with by the time I got here.
Keith Johnston got the bids and turned them in, which was also noted. Was it noted?
Was we advised that this was taking place? Anybody?
I'm pretty sure that
We
he
had
had
been
been
discussed, it just wasn't like an official, like we're doing this.
Who discussed it?
We'd all
We
discussed
haven't
doing stuff
discussed
up
it.
there, but
I
moving the they had brought up bringing out the concrete pillars even down here several
Right,
times.
a couple of months before this.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just something that had been on the table, it wasn't anything official, like, here we go, let's jump on it.
Ain't everything supposed to go in front of council? Is that not how this is
It
supposed
did,
to
and it
work?
was voted
No,
on.
it wasn't.
The bids were put before the council.
Yeah, after the fact.
But we don't, you
No,
don't
the
have to
work was
ask for
not
permission
done.
to
Those
get
bids could have
bids.
been, the bids that were submitted to the council could have been rejected, and they were not.
They was by me.
Yeah, but you're just one person, David. You had
How
three
come
people
y'all didn't
that
take
went.
Evan House bid for $5,000?
He didn't put a bid in, he had a verbal, like, oh, I'll do it for this amount of money, it wasn't anything.
Well, it's,
You
I mean,
couldn't-
it's,
We
the other
couldn't
bids were
even look at that, $3,000 savings?
If he'd have sent something in writing, we would have.
Did you ask him to?
No, I didn't ask him to, and I've had numerous conversations with stuff like that too, and I'm not gonna put him on the hot spot and discuss
Oh,
this.
I ain't either.
Here,
I
but
mean,
that's
he's
how
the
it's
biggest
coming up.
taxpayer in the city of Nelson.
I get that.
He should have been
But he's
considered.
also extremely busy, and there's times that he'll offer to do things, not really have the time to do it, and I've had those conversations with him too. So it wasn't an official bid, it was more of like, oh, I could have done it for this amount of money, it wasn't, I'll do it for this, and it was, it was a conversation. It wasn't a flat out offer.
I mean, he told me he would have done it for that.
I know, he's told me he would, he also told me the amount that he would do this project down here for.
Mhm.
But that doesn't mean that he put a bid in that we could,
We need to consider stuff when
I
it's $3,000 or
have-
$4,000 cheaper.
I have no problem with that, but we have to have something in writing too. It can't be just a conversation.
Well, I mean, we had something from the landscape that wasn't qualified to do the job, and then a tree man. Bubba was really the only one qualified to do the work. Right?
My opinion.
I mean, we need to get qualified people when we get this stuff out, not just raining on people.
I get
You
that,
can't,
but
but you can't make people bid on projects.
No, but if you'll advise us, we can try to find somebody to
There's
bid
plenty
for.
of people out there.
There's all kind of people that does work.
Well.
But this is also a conversation that could have taken place last week, or the last meeting before it was voted on.
Well, it
Instead
could have
of
took
after the
place a week or two before that, I mean, when you was getting the bids too. I mean,
fact.
we didn't know anything about the bid.
I'm just saying
process.
hindsight's 20/20. We learn as we go forward. We've all been thrown into situations where we're having to learn as we go.
That's why we need to clarify all this. It needs to come in from the council,
It did
all
come
the
from
council,
All
before
pilots.
it's bid out or anything.
If
We
you're
could
not,
have put some input in on this, not after the fact.
I get that, but this conversation should have taken place before the job was done, not
Right,
after it's done and then people are being
If it
scolded.
wouldn't have
because
been
of
rushed
whatever.
through like it was, we could have talked about it.
We did talk about it, you didn't make a meeting.
I was working over it.
But
But I'm
that's not-
saying, that's not, there's times that I can't make meetings, but I can't go back and then scold you because you made a decision I didn't
I'm not
like,
scolding anybody, I'm
I'm
just
just-
voicing my concerns.
as am I.
Well, from now on, the whole council needs to be involved in
You
this.
can't do that though, because there's
Why?
times that
If
if a meeting
somebody
is
doesn't show
scheduled
up,
and
they
somebody
don't
can't
show
show up,
up.
we can't cancel a meeting because somebody
Hold a
isn't here.
vote just
Well,
because somebody
from
don't
now
show
on,
up.
we need to present something and then bid on it,
That's
not
what
present
everybody
and bid
does.
on it at the same time in a work session. It should have been in a public meeting to begin with. not a
Were
work
those bids
session.
available before the
Yes,
meeting?
They were here for like 2 weeks.
Who?
The bids were available for 2 weeks before the meeting.
When was
Because we
we
discussed it.
contacted?
I put it in a text. And send it
The
to
week
you.
of.
Whenever it's done. This is just, we're gonna
It's
sit here and
done,
argue
I
about
know,
something
but-
that's already done.
Moving forward, we need to do it the way it's set up to be done.
Well, it's
Alright.
supposed to be done that we have a quorum, and we had a quorum.
Right. But
Okay, I'm
to
gonna stop. 'cause I
solicit the
don't- I
bids,
get it.
the
Okay.
whole council was supposed to be involved, right?
You want to
Everything's
solicit a
supposed-
bid, we can put you on the bid committee.
Yeah.
David Hamby, on bids, I want
I
David
mean, I
Hamby.
wanna know when it's gonna be
No,
put out.
you can be on the bid committee, so going forward, if you got input that you want to, when we go to solicit
I
bids.
just wanna know
let's
it's
put you-
being
David,
done.
And I appreciate that, but you don't pick your packet up on time, you don't review the material on time,
I
and you
work
come.
10 and 12 hours a day.
I do too, and when I take off, I have to take off without pay, and it's an elected position, I knew that when I took it, and I knew it wasn't paid for.
Okay.
So, we have, our packets are ready on Friday, please pick those up, yeah.
Now, since we're talking about this, let's talk about, when we bid a job and we approve a price, when that price changes, is it supposed to come back through the council?
For change
That's
order
for the-
request,
That's for the attorney, I guess?
I believe it depends on the amount of change, if it's within the
$3,000.
discretionary amount. right?
$3,750.
It actually wasn't, it was $2,650 when they redid the thing, because the other $1,000 was the 1 foot by 91 feet that he did out here. Sylvia and I just looked at it about 10 minutes ago.
I got the paper you gave me earlier, it's $3,750.
I can get the other one.
go to somebody else, do you want to grab that?
I got all of them up here if you need to see them.
Well, we got it, we've got the new one that he sent in, and you got it, it should be right there, so, we get it, it's 1 by 91 feet, David, and then this out here, that was another $1,000, and this out here was 2,700.
2,700.
Yes.
And I talked to several people, it should have been around 1,300 or 1,400 instead of 2,700.
Well, did those people give you a quote?
They didn't give nobody.
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do, I'll go ahead and I'll solicit people in Cherokee and Pickens and get a quote for that pad out there, and we'll see
Okay.
what it comes out to.
All right,
And then if it comes out to anywhere close to 2,700, we drop it,
okay.
okay?
Kyle Peoples does contract work.
I will. And I will show you who those people are and the whole 9 yards, concrete people.
I can give you some names from them.
I would like some.
Bert Lucas Overdrive Concrete.
Bert Lucas,
Yeah,
is that in Pickens County?
yeah. And then I'll get you a number to another guy I talked to the other day.
Okay.
What more is that?
Wasn't Bobby D. Lane. But Bobby D. Lane would be a good one too.
Here's your pad, 23 by 10, $2,654 right here.
Oh, I got that paper right there, so. I got this original one too, for
That was,
the
but that was when we asked him to break it
$3,750.
down by the square foot, and that was when he broke it
So
down. and
$2,600, it was well
The
within
original
our,
one was
The discretionary,
yeah.
yes.
So,
But the 3750 wasn't,
yeah, it was under five.
How did we add back the $1,000 to the sidewalk
he had added a foot to it.
for,
How
it
did-
says
For
for
slope.
grade. For
Yeah, it was
slope,
for
did
the
the
slope.
building move or the
No,
parking lot
they-
change or?
Oh, you talking about the foot they added on the
Yeah.
front here?
So they added a slope to it, is what they did, and it was 1 foot extra.
But he bid 4,200 originally, right, to replace sidewalk.
He bid, original
original.
sidewalk at 4 feet was 36 square foot at $4,200.
And that was at $10 and something a square foot for demolition and pouring it back, right? Or is it, $11.54 square foot, right? But he charged $11.54 a square foot just to pour the pad back. There wasn't a demo out here.
I'm sure he used a subcontractor, and to be honest with you, I don't feel like what he wrote down there was right, but that's just here and there.
I mean, I
don't
know
get
that's
with it,
right.
so, you know.
That's my point. We need to get stuff like this approved. I mean, if you'd have called me and told me $3,700 for that slab, I said, no way.
It wasn't
It was
3,700.
3-point-something yards.
600.
Well, 2,600.
That's a
It's still
$1,000
3-point-something
less.
yards of concrete. And it's like $150 a yard, so $500 worth of concrete.
When they were here, it was, they were doing the work, we went ahead and did it, so.
Without approval or discussion.
Anything else on Pickens Street? Or the concrete pad?
No.
But got one thing, Can we,
Which one?
Pickens Street, just the bid, we can get to it when we talk about the bid process. That'd probably be the better time. Never mind.
All right, new business. Discuss and vote on the IGA for the library.
This is stuff that Jeff had sent around.
Yeah, Jeff had sent this over, that was where he said it probably would not be a bad thing. Do you know anything about that?
On the library agreement,
Yeah,
he said that Nelson contributing something could be of benefit now that you have the library. But, you know,
he was gonna look at what everybody else was contributing and let us know his thoughts on.
yeah, on
Did he
page
do it?
4, it has the amounts. You know, Holly Springs and Waleska and Ball Ground are all fairly low. He didn't mention to me any specific amounts. I can look back at it with him if we need to.
That's something like 3,500.
I thought he said $1,000 is what he had told me, but I don't know if he stuck with that or. I don't think he did. You see him in your council?
Now, there isn't like a 90 amount in here, because they didn't expect us to contribute, but I think is, what he's saying is it might be good for us to do so, especially since we have a library that's still in a category to kind of have some skin in the game, so to speak. Ball grounds actually went down. 2017, they did 5,000 last year.
And again, because you're split between the counties, and this is Cherokee County, it would make sense to do a smaller amount.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, I'm not sure, he said $1,000.
And I'm fine with that. I think it gives us more legitimacy for the library.
What's your recommendation?
How much?
1,000, I think is what she said, they mentioned with her.
Yeah, Baldwin's doing 3,500, Canton's doing 20,000, Holly Springs is at 4,000, Waleska's at 4,000, and Woodstock's at 45,620.
Well, she said we're also split between two counties.
Yeah, given your population and that this is the Cherokee side and you're split, I think a lower amount would be reasonable.
Make a motion to approve paying $1,000 towards that. You want to look into it more?
No, second.
All in favor? Unanimous. Okay, discuss and vote on the IGA for Cherokee Office of Economic Development. Councilwoman Judge.
I don't know, this is stuff that's, I don't know if it was half of what this stuff is. They were just things that sent over that we're going to approve, basically.
Can you talk to me about yeah.
He said that he looked through all of these and they're kind of the standard yearly agreements that get sent out.
Just expected to sign.
And I believe that the funding amounts have not necessarily changed from year to year.
What is the funding amount on that?
It looks like it's on page
3,000, I believe.
Yeah, we'll go over here for the next year.
first.
Well, that's lower than what we had anticipated, because I thought that we agreed with 5,000 on that one, because we have been doing it. Yeah. I'm sure if they're good with three.
I'll make a motion to approve $3,000 to IGA Cherokee Office of Economic Development.
I'll second.
All in favor? Okay. Discuss and vote on the IGA of the Transportation Improvement Project.
This is another same thing.
Is this
It's just
another?
a generic template kind of thing, but there aren't specifics in it.
Is there dollars associated with this one too?
Now, this one doesn't have any dollar amounts in it.
This is what he sent us, I think it's
The
just a
template
generic.
agreement.
Yeah.
And it's this is what we do yearly, he said, or is it?
Most of them are IGAs that, yeah, every several years get recirculated.
I'll make a note when I'm supposed to be meeting with Jerry Cooper. I'm supposed to do this month, but I pushed it to October. So I'll make a note to ask him. It's the first time I've seen this one.
I think it's really, what are we just voting on to approve the template?
The format, I mean, this one doesn't have any specific amounts, and you
Yeah.
couldn't be approving it with respect to any specific project. The most you could do is approve the template, the format of the agreement itself.
I'll make a motion to approve the format of the agreement.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
All in favor? All right. Discuss and vote on the bid process. This one's yours.
Didn't you skip one?
Yeah, discuss amount of money spent without approval.
Discuss and vote on bid process.
It's the 8D, let's see, I did D, and then E was bids.
Discuss and vote on the amount of money spent.
Without approval. Or without council approval.
It's at 1,000, right?
I think
Yeah.
just for general, like the debit card kind of stuff. And James are
Yeah.
the only ones that have debit cards. So that's anytime any money spent on anything that's not office stuff, that's always a tax or at least something.
What,
How much is it to service that dog with the Bobcat when we do our oil changes? There was a reason for it, wasn't it? I don't remember exactly what it was.
There's anything
Seven hundred,
in
and
it's
I want to
always
say it was 700,
plus the tow fees.
yeah, which was another 3. It was right at 1,000. It was like $660 and then it was 300 something.
I think we voted on it that time, because it was over 1,000.
It was actually, but we did work on it, so that's why. But the oil changes are separate, and the oil changes have to be picked up. So this was before your time, when they moved it to $1,000.
What's it gonna hurt us if we move it back to 500? Is it, what's the negatives to that?
What's the benefit to it? Because it's not, I mean, money is never spent like that without everybody knowing. I know James and I are both.
Right now, you don't
cautious
cost
with
anything.
city money.
Let's add you to the check signing thing, and you can come down and start signing checks too. I think that would be good.
Well, signing right now.
James, Chad, and me.
Yeah. We add another one on there.
Well, you can have me on there, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll make sure
well,
to add Nathan.
We have to
too.
wait till the, after
Well, actually,
the election.
Um,
may have to just because of all of the,
Yeah.
So how much is the limit right now?
I
$1,000.
think it's 1,000. It's like if we just go out and start shopping with our debit cards, which would never happen.
I'll make a motion, we change it to 500.
I'll second it.
All in favor? 2 yeas and a nay.
We have to ask.
All opposed.
All opposed? Are you abstaining or are you voting?
I don't think we need to do that.
Okay, thank you. So we have 3. So does that mean it doesn't go through?
It does not pass.
Thank you. Does not pass. All right, next one. Change the process for the bid process.
Discuss and vote to change the bid process.
The reason that it is the way that it is now, and we voted on that, was so we did not have to have advertising for small bids. Anything under $10,000, we move that up to $20,000, and then the bids still get voted on by the council. So you really didn't change anything except save the city money by not advertising.
Not advertising is costing us money
I
in the
just-
long run, because we're paying more for projects.
Did the advertisements, or even like to run an ad for the millage rate, was $1,000.
To run an ad.
Yeah, the millage rate for just Cherokee County. The Cherokee, the Pickens side's very reasonable. The Cherokee side's very expensive.
To run an ad for bids,
For the millage rate, just to
Millage
put
rate,
it.
just to put the millage rate in is $1,000.
but just for putting an ad in our accepting bids is $1,000.
I don't know if it's exactly how much. I'm saying that was
You
the
have to
last
run
time
it
we
for
ran
3
it was
weeks,
that
and
much.
it's right at $800. It's a little over $800 to run the bids for 3 weeks.
I still, we gotta get qualified people bidding on projects, not just.
We're on the bid process now, so we'll be working
Let's drop her that
on
back
bids.
down to $10,000 and it will keep it like that.
I'll make
See.
a motion, we drop it to 10,000.
Second.
All in
Okay.
favor?
So you're.
We gotta ask for all opposed.
All opposed? Okay. 2 nays and 3 yeses.
So that's requiring advertising and sealed bids for projects 10,000 and up,
Yeah.
correct? Okay.
I thought that's what it was, but
Yeah.
It was, we just changed it
I thought it
a
was
few months
5.
ago.
Yeah, a few months back.
Because that's what the other cities had recommended, just because it holds projects up when you have to do it for lower amounts.
All right, public appearance. Anybody else have anything they'd like to say tonight?
Hang on, I missed something here on the bid process. I was gonna make a recommendation that going forward, when we're bidding something, that the bids be solicited by city officials only to cut down on the miscommunication and stuff.
Normally they are.
Normally, except the Pickens Street.
Except the Pickens Street, I own that one.
Okay. All right. That was my last thing, sorry.
Do we have any public appearance? I'm gonna take that as a no. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
All in favor?